What is going on, all you Pokemon collecting maniacs out there? This is Ryan, the Pika Pika Papa, and I am coming to you with our very first video here for this channel. So, you might be wondering, number one, where'd you get such a corny name? And number two, why the heck should I be listening to you? And I'm very prepared to answer both of those questions. So, I will tell you this, I have been collecting high-grade sports cards for about 20 years now. I was super fortunate, I got into it early on. I've done really well over time. I built a six-figure collection, but I've done that with an average income. Like I've done it just by steady investing, focusing on some very simple principles and staying the course over a long period of time. I don't share that number with you to like boast or brag or say, oh, I've got this huge collection. I share it with you because I think it's important to understand the people that you're talking to, the people that you're listening to, the people who are providing you with advice here on YouTube, because there's a lot of talking heads out there, and a lot of them are wicked smart, and a lot of them have some great advice. But for me, I like talking to people, and I like listening to people who've walked the walk and talked the talk and have been doing anything, I don't care what it is, for a prolonged period of time, because I think that just builds some wisdom. And there's no replacement for actual real life experiences. So how did I go from collecting sports cards to having a YouTube channel about collecting and investing in Pokemon cards? So it was about 6 months ago, and I have a 6-year-old daughter and a 3-year-old daughter. My 6-year-old daughter came up to me and she said, Daddy, I want to collect Pokemon cards the way you collect football cards. My heart grew 3 sizes that day. It was just an amazing moment for me, just because she's seen how I've collected. She knows how much passion I have about it. She knows how much I love it. And for her to take the same approach and the same feelings and the same emotions and to put it towards Pokemon, I just thought it was a really cool moment in time for us. So of course I said, absolutely, sweetheart, we're going to learn as much as we can and we'll absolutely get into this together. So that set off a crazy chain of events for me. Whenever I get into something, I go in full speed. I don't half-ass anything. So I started reading everything that I could on Pokemon cards. I started watching every video that I could on YouTube about Pokemon investing, Pokemon collecting. I was trying to figure out who the influencers were. Obviously there's a lot of different opinions out there. And I really wanted to figure out like, hey, what are they doing? How are they being successful? And then how can I parlay my experience in collecting cardboard? Because listen, at the end of the day, that's what we're all doing. We're all collecting cardboard. It might have different pictures on it. It's going to have different rarity to it. It's going to have different ages to it and population reports and grading. And all of that is going to be different. But at the end of the day, we are collecting cardboard with the hopes that in the future, somebody's going to value that cardboard more than we value it today, which will cause them to pay more money for it in the future than we paid for it today. That's it. It's actually really, really, really simple when you break it down that way. And it's also a lot of fun because when you look at it that way, there's a bunch of different ways to skin a cat. There's a bunch of different ways to be profitable. There's a bunch of different ways to grow a great collection. And there's a bunch of different ways to really enjoy the hobby. And I love that, both about sports cards and about Pokemon collecting. You can invest in certain teams or players in Pokemon. You can love sets and eras, and you can love VMAX and foils and secret cards. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And I love that about this hobby. What I want to do is I want to take a lot of my experience and I want to put it into the Pokemon space. And the reason I decided to start the YouTube channel was because a lot of the people who are out there didn't have quite the years of experience that I have. And certainly they know a whole lot more about Pokemon than I do. I think I know a good bit amount, maybe not as more, but certainly as much about collecting cardboard as they do. So I wanted to provide a channel for people where you could talk to somebody, listen to somebody, and kind of hear my feedback after years and years of collecting. I also wanted to create a channel because I expect you to share with me a lot of stuff. In my videos, it will be very common for me to ask questions because there are things that you know way more than I do about. And I want to create this incredible community, this incredible communication stream where we're all sharing ideas, we're all getting better, we're becoming better collectors and investors. And at the end of the day, we're having a ton of fun because that's what it's all about. So when I talk about this channel and when I talk about my goals for it, there's a couple things that I want to point out. You should be excited. If you are watching this right now, that means that you are interested in Pokemon collecting or Pokemon investing. One of the common themes that I've been hearing from a lot of these Pokemon influencers is vintage versus modern. Let me share this with you. The oldest card in my sports card collection is a 1911 T206 Ty Cobb card. 1911. It's worth about 15 grand. I bought it for $100. That is a vintage card, okay? You should be excited because right now in Pokemon, there really isn't any vintage. I mean, if you look at the US sets, the earliest one is what, 1999? You know, first edition, then you have Shadowless, then you have the base set, Unlimited. Like, you should be excited. And the prices for them are super approachable right now if you think about the long-term trajectory for Pokemon. If you feel like this is going to be around for 20, 30, 40, 50 years, you should be jumping all in on this. I also heard a lot of people who were talking about, you know, aren't big fans of graded cards. They like raw cards, which is fine for personal collections. I will tell you from an investor, I was around when raw cards were preferred over graded cards in the sports card hobby. I will tell you, over the last 20 years, everything has gone to graded cards. Graded cards command a higher price point. I know they do in Pokemon as well, but the gap is much narrower than in the sports card hobby. So I'm a proponent of graded cards. I'm a proponent of being first investors in a lot of these early stages of Pokemon cards. And I want everybody to be excited because you are on the precipice of an amazing opportunity. I picked up a couple of 1999 base set unlimited cards. I know they're not Shadowless and they're not first edition, but I bought them for nothing. And they're in PSA 10s. And I have this strong feeling that over the long run, they're going to be worth a lot of money. I'm also not going to talk about quick flips. I don't buy any card with the intention of selling it in less than 10, 15 years. That's it. If I'm going to invest in it, if I'm going to put my own money into it, I want to hold it. So if you're looking for a channel that's going to talk about quick flips, that's going to talk about how to make a quick buck, that's going to say, hey, buy it for $1, sell it for $5, that's not this channel. And I'm happy for you to be here. I'm happy for you to subscribe. I'm happy for you to hear this, but you're not going to have a lot of relevant content because I don't talk about any of that. The only thing that I'm focused on is buying great products, great cards that are going to bring me and my family a ton of joy that we're going to hold on for a long, long time. I'll use the word investing because I know that's what a lot of people like to talk about, but I consider myself a collector. I will tell you this, my sports card collection, I will never sell it. I could be homeless under a bridge and I will be clinging to my sports cards collection, shivering without a blanket because I refuse to sell it. It is something that I want to pass down for generations and generations and generations if the future so allows it. The thing is, the only way that you're ever going to actualize any capital returns on your investments is if you sell, right? It's not like a stock that'll pay you dividends where you can hold on to the stock and it pays you a little bit every single month or every quarter or every year, depending on what stock it is. These are things that you have to sell in order to realize your capital gains. When you sell things also, you have to pay taxes on those capital gains, right? There's short-term and long-term. This isn't a tax advice. This isn't, a mutual fund type investing channel, so I'm not going to get into that, but you pay taxes on that as well. I believe in collecting and holding, and someday I would be thrilled if I had a sports card and Pokemon card museum for everybody to see. So I'm going to cut it off right there. If you like this content, if you're interested in what's coming out, my commitment to you is I'm going to deliver you truthful, honest, unbiased content. Because guess what? I don't have a dog in the Pokemon fight. I don't care about Pikachu. I don't care about Squirtle. I don't care about Bulbasaur. I don't care about Charizard. I don't care about Onix. I'm thrilled that I just named 5 Pokemon off the top of my head like that. That's amazing. I am only in this to bring my family joy. I'm only in this because I think it's an early time to get in, and I think it's a great investment and opportunity. So you don't have to worry about me being biased towards vintage or modern or any particular card or any particular set. We're going to let the facts, we're going to let the dollars, we're going to let the volume, we're going to let the demand, we're going to let all of that predicate the things that we talk about here on this channel. I also want to let you know, this is about as tame as you're going to see me. I'm a crazy high energy guy. So if you want to see more, we got great content coming out. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, throw some comments down below, ask me some questions, hit me with some knowledge. I am all about building an awesome community here. So thank you for taking the time, and I hope that you enjoyed.